building up voices and igniting freedom. Off the stand taller when the spotlight hits. Global media turns big dreams into business. Paula got power, Paulette brings the crowd. Alexis makes every written word sound proud. Christiana Johnson let the whole room know. Global media got the team now. Run the show, run the show, run the show, run the show, run the show. They make you famous, so you sell more. Make some noise, let the whole world know. Put your name on the cover, then watch your business grow. Books in the air, everybody, let's go. Global media in the building, now start the show. Number one, big authority, big legacy. Global media. Who took the lessons from COVID-19, turned pain into power and built a whole team? Who showed us how to rise when the world shut down? Ineos took the lesson and spread it around. Let's go. He took what we learned and showed how to overcome it. Put 17 voices together and then he went and won it. 8 number ones, let the whole world hear it. Resilience on the page with a champion spirit. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. A story of strength, hope, and victory. Don't just look at it, don't just talk about it. Buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. Lessons we learned from COVID. Buy now. Ineos song made history. Show 'em how. Campaigns, we announce your arrival. Turn your book launch into a cultural revival. Faith in the mission, fire in the room. Put your story in the word and let authority bloom. Entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, and coaches, your moment is here and Global Media knows it. Grab the microphone, let your legacy flow. Any old song. Let's go. Any old song. Time to start the show. If you don't know, baby, now you know. If you want your book sold, here you go. We make you famous, so you sell more. We build your legacy and open the door. From Nigeria to the United Kingdom, building bold voices and igniting freedom. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. Right now, let's go, let's go, let's go. Awesome. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. The show starts now.
Yeah.
I know you don't like all the flair.
You're
Sometimes the shine brings too much glare. So we toned it down for the audience's sound. Global Media. Any old song. Let's go. Time to stop the show. If you don't know, baby, now you know. If you want your book sold, here you go. Any old song. Let's go. 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 Go. Right now. Global Media. Let's go. Any old song. Time to start this show. Step in the room, let the whole place shake. And he got the formula, watch greatness break. Books go live in the rank.
I'm doing nothing at all. You're on mute, Dr. Noella.
Pardon.
Hello. How are you doing? You know, I, that's not me. That's not, okay. That's not me. Oh, why? Technology, Dr. Noella. Technology plays stuff, right?
Yeah,
Technology plays with
technology
us always.
happens.
I love my song. Of course I do. It's by William Rochelle.
It's
I
so
love.
amazing.
I tell you, I love the song and video. I've got about 3 or 4 of them now. But this is the one I'm going to use for my book events. And so
Okay.
yours is a book. This is a book event. In case you don't know, my friends in the audience, this is all about Dr. Noella's amazing book, The CEO with No Experience. Yay! you know, I said, look, the book is coming. The book is done. The book is about to be published, and then we're going to launch the book towards the end of the month. I'll say no, I know the dates. I'm just not. Yeah. Let's see how life plays out, Dr. Noella. Right. Let's see how Amazon plays out. Let's see how things go. If things go perfectly, we can get the book launched on the 27th. That's a plan. If we have to delay it, my friends, then so be it. And if something happens that I can't control, nothing we can do about that. But anyway, look. Welcome to my amazing superstar author, Dr. Noella. She's the one that this is all about. How are you, my friend? How are you doing?
I'm doing good also. Oh,
You've gone mute. You've
I'm doing
muted.
great, Annie, and it's
Excellent.
really an honor for me to be here and to have you. Thank you so much, and to have your team and all that.
Yeah, no, you're far too kind. I know you're a busy woman, and because you're a real doctor, and you're still learning more. I think that there's a lesson in that for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Lisa, how are you doing? How are you doing, Lisa? Great to see you always. And Lisa's one of my truly best friends, my
Oh,
favorite friends on here. In the course of these pre-launch events, I think we've got 4 planned. So we've got another event Monday, Thursday, and then next Monday after that, and then the book launch event. Well, Lisa is one of the people that you're going to get to meet because she
okay.
is that great person. Of course, she does her own events and she talks about menopause and women's health, which is similar to you, Dr.
Oh,
Noel.
yeah.
Uh, so of course, part of Eddie's thing is for us to connect. So if you're here, my friends, say hi. Drop us a comment. If you don't say anything, I won't know you're here. I might know someone's here, but I just won't know it's you. So say where you're joining us from. Say what you're up to today. Say hi to Dr. Noella and just say something. Otherwise, I can't welcome you properly. I'm trying to start my YouTube now. Right. Dr. Noella, now this is going to be an experience for everyone because my friends don't know you yet. Some have met you, of course, in some events. But this is their chance to really get to know you and your genius. You know, Anyway, tell us where do you want to start? What do you want to tell us about Dr. Noella?
I'll just start mainly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Annie. Can you hear me? I think there was some noise, like a call,
No,
so it was
maybe.
distracting me.
Okay, okay.
I
Well,
go
now
ahead.
you have kids. Yeah, of course, of course, of course. Now you have
Uh,
kids, clearly,
oh,
which is
okay, okay. So, it's really an honor for me to be here. Thank you so much, Annie, for all the pushes to make sure that I reach this stage. It has not been easy, and I know many people who write books. They know how challenging it is to actually publish. So, I'm Dr. Gwanyama Noella. I'm a medical doctor from Cameroon, and I'm the founder of Talk Pregnancy with Dr. Noella, a non-profit organization that ensures that women have proper health care before, during, and after pregnancy. And our organization now is focusing on preconception care, what couples need to do before pregnancy occurs. And as well, I'm also the founder of the Cameroon Young Physician Network, which is part of a collaboration with other healthcare providers to see that healthcare providers go beyond the four walls of the hospital to see how they can learn about leadership, how they can learn about entrepreneurship and community engagement and research. Just something out of the box to see that healthcare is giving the proper healthcare is given in the proper way each person can give. So it's really an honor for me to be here once more, and I'm glad to meet Annie's friends and all other connections. Thank you.
green. They couldn't see me, couldn't hear me either. But welcome, Natalie.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say. I'm trying to do. I do things and Restream reverses it. That's why the song was playing 3 times over, right? So let me try and minimize the screen
Uh-huh.
again. Right. Don't touch anything, Annie. Don't touch anything. Right. Okay. Will this nightmare with tech continue forever? No, of course not. I have bought my adapter so I can work my new MacBook. So I'll start that my delivery comes on Monday. But life must go on. Dr. Noela's show is too important to cancel, right? We've lost you. We've lost your picture. We've lost your picture, Dr. Noella. Right. Look,
Not
the,
here.
yeah, I said the way I see it working, if I disappear, you just carry on talking. Talk about what you like, right? I'm saying, if I lose sound, if I suddenly disappear, then I don't panic. Just carry on talking, right? And if you disappear, I'll just carry on talking until you come back, right? We'll work it out somehow. Now, I think by Monday, everything should be better. I think. Never perfect.
Absolutely.
Look, as you say, everyone is a leader, right? And of course, and there are many authors as well. And say this event, oh, that's one of your lovely kids there in the corner. Oh, of course, having published your book, I'm publishing your book. I've had to read the book. I know what's in the book, right? And
Yeah.
so you got two kids, or you got three kids? You got two kids.
Three.
I had a feeling. Right. I think you wrote about the first one, I think, in detail in the book, about your pregnancy anyway. And
Yeah.
again, I love stories like that because I think the reality of life is people think life is easy. You get pregnant, you have a baby, but again, I think doing what you do and trying to help, like as you're trying to do with your business, with your organization, and you supporting other people. It's weird when life throws more challenges at you. You know, but
Yeah.
as a leader, I think, well, as anyone who wants to do anything in life, I think you have to overcome the challenges in life, right? Yeah. Maybe tell us about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome this journey of because there's a long story of you, like say, living your life, doing your work. There's you building your organization to help more people, and then supporting people to be better at what they do, and then leadership, and as you say, as I said earlier, right? What has the journey been like for you?
So far the journey has really not been an easy one, and I must say, and like leaders, people who have gone through maybe leadership, gone through challenges. I too went through a lot of challenges, and mainly it was the power to start, especially being at the point where, yes, I was a medical doctor, and it's not like a normal thing for us to just start up something. We have the normal routine. You go to work, you spend 8 hours at work, you consult, and you go back home, you take care of the family. But actually seeing something different and trying to come up with something different in your area. And as it's about talk pregnancy with Dr. Noella, and when you talk about pregnancy, everybody think of you're a gynecologist, you're an obstetrician. But it got to me, I said, but if I'm not a gynecologist, if I'm not an obstetrician, so doesn't mean that I can't talk about pregnancy, maybe just really about pregnancy. But in a general sense, I was a medical doctor, and of course, during medical practice, you're taught about pregnancy, of course, because you can do a lot with women and pregnancy. So that's what got me out of the box and started doing what I had to do. So one thing that I would say is really what pushed me to do it, because a lot of people had been talking about me being trying to that the way you explain things to people is like something that, because there was one statement someone made to me and said, I've learned the menstrual cycle, I've been taught the menstrual cycle since I was in high school, but I've never understood But just one time you taught me, I was able to understand. So that got me thinking, like, what the way you explain, the way you talk to people, you can make complex things simple. So that's what pushed me out there to make complex things simple. And this really about the CEO with no experience. It's it makes the whole process simple, but just that simple thing is not simple in practice. So it makes you feel like you can do it. And if you actually practice it, then you can do it. So the main challenge was really because I was not a qualified gynecologist. And in our country, you need to do, after 7 years, you go in to do 4 years again to be a specialist. And then that was when I started a family. I got married, I got pregnant, I was starting a new life, and to start going to school again. And with specialization is not something that you can start saying you have time for the family. It's something different. You don't have time for yourself. Talk less of you starting marriage, starting to a family and all that. So I saw that in my nearest future, not going for specialization in the next 3 to 4 years. So I said, so will this thing just die down? Is it going to just fall? Is it going to remain like that? And I had to, one thing is that once I had that confusion, I had to seek for mentorship. I attended some conferences, some programs, so I could get to hear what other people were talking about. So once I got there and someone told me that no, you can still do that. Why thinking ahead? Why thinking of doing your specialization? You cannot sit and wait for that idea for 4 years. Oh, it's going to be done. That's going to be done. So I had to really try to step out and close my ears to maybe criticisms, because I know a lot of people were getting to me. And one thing, one main thing was when the patients come, the first thing they're going to ask me is, "Are you a
Mm.
gynecologist?" Oh my god! So when they just asked that question, I felt bad at the first, at the beginning, because that was my highest fear. So and when the patients start asking, means they will not really trust you with what you want to say.
Mm.
But I kept learning, and I knew that what I was telling them was okay. And when it's something, just like a medical doctor, when it's something more than you, they say referral is not a weakness. So once you reach a point where I can't do that, I refer you now to the gynecologist, and I tell you immediately, I know I'm a general practitioner, please, I'm not a gynecologist. So what I'm going, the ones I can do, and if there is any other if you need any specialist care, I'm going to refer you to the gynecologist. And that was how they started believing in what I was saying, started getting to me, and many people started consulting me. And that was how the organization started growing, and we started growing our community, women's health and pregnancy issues. So it was really at that beginning to start and then start continuing.
Yeah,
So it was.
brilliant,
Mhm.
brilliant. So obviously, I know you have a story to tell. Let's welcome Janice. I imagine Janice is one of your friends. Janine, sorry, Janine. My
Yeah,
bad, Janine.
Janine.
Yeah, Janine Cummings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for making a comment. That way I know you're here and I can welcome you with all the grace that you deserve, Janine. Thank you for giving us your time. I don't know, of course, I haven't seen you before, but our live stream events are, it's what we do every day, right? It's how we bring stars to the world. So that you can see Dr. Noella, so everyone can see Dr. Noella now. And Dr. Noella, look, people will think you're a small person. They think, oh, Dr. Noella, no, she's just written a book, that's it. But I remember going to one of your events, your Zoom events, and it was huge. You're a star. You're a star on YouTube. You're a star. So people don't know you, but I know you're a star in many places. And when you talk about your work, your medical work, you say you've done a few projects abroad. But no, you went to US. You won an award. I'm saying, you've truly moved mountains. Good on you. Good on you. And look, all of this is written in Dr. Noella's book. All of you who are here, my friends, I am quite, am I selfish? Maybe. But look, the only thing I care about is Dr. Noella's book launch party, right? And I need you to be there to buy the book. The book will be at launch price. We're talking $1.99, $1.99, or not even 99 cents. There's no images in the book. So everything works for me towards that day. You can listen to her, you can connect with her, of course, but literally, I will be happy. We'll be happiest when you come and buy the book on launch day. I'll tell you why. The simple reason is that my sole focus is on Dr. Noella becoming the #1 bestseller on Amazon. I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to say this every time. Whenever you see me, I'm going to keep talking about this because I'm obsessed with I guess I'm obsessed with my friend's books getting the elevation that you deserve. You're taking time to write the book. You shed your genius. The world deserves to read the book, and if people read the book, then every person that reads the book tells other people that the book is worth reading. It's worth buying. It's worth reading. So that's why I'm so obsessed by the #1 title that I think you deserve to get. Of course, if you get to #1, more people get to see your book, more people get to buy your book, more get to learn from your book. So I am kind of crazy about making Dr. Noella the #1 best-selling author. We have to do it. We have, and we've done it for all our authors. We never failed. So we're going to do it for Dr. Noella as well. Of course, there is a Kickstarter campaign that we're going to start tomorrow, Dr. Noella. I just told you, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's more another attempt on my side to get new buyers. And my LinkedIn friends will know
Awesome.
what there is. So they'll bring the Noella's friends and family along to buy the book. And of course, we need more people. We always need more people. So one of my best ideas is to do a Kickstarter campaign, a crowdfunding campaign that will get more people to know about the book. And then those who support the crowdfunding might support the book on launch day too. That's the idea. That's the idea. Can I say now? So we've got four sessions planned, and I guess we'll work towards that launch date. As we get closer to it, of course, we'll be more focused on the book than anything else. For today, what I really want to do is talk about Dr. Noella, so you get to know who she is, why she does what she does. I think that's so important. I'm going to talk about this in my room tomorrow. Talk to business. And we've got big plans, Dr. Noella. We have huge plans. Of course, it means you're working even more. Again,
Yeah. Yeah.
see, I was late to get in here. When I got, when I turned my screen on, Doctor, no, you are working. Are you always working?
I'm always working. I'm always working. Sometimes I always say, when do I rest?
Mm, mm,
But I do create time. I do create time to rest.
that's
Yeah.
thank goodness you make time to
Recharge.
rest. Yeah, no, yeah, you have to rest, right? You have to rest. But
Yeah,
I
you
think
have to recharge.
it says a lot about how much is on leaders. Leaders. I think I'm sure we're all leaders, right? In one way or another. We lead ourselves
Mhm.
primarily. If we can't lead ourselves, we can't lead anyone. We lead people, we lead our families, we lead our community. I'm saying all of us are leaders. But here is the quirk, Dr. Noella. Here's the confusion. Here's the thing that doesn't quite make sense. Most people don't get trained to be leaders. We don't get trained in leadership. There's no way that you say practice being a leader. What happens is that suddenly you start a company, suddenly you're at the front of the company. You're the leader, right? What I'm saying, why, why do you think it is that we don't get trained to be leaders?
Yeah. So mainly many leaders, if we want to really see how leadership is, there are leaders who are maybe First thing is maybe something just given to them, or they can just be appointed by maybe higher level, or just something given to them or passed over. So at that point, you have to still learn to be a leader in that position.
Mm,
Yeah. So there are people that it's been given to them, but now leadership is something that you have to learn, because even why maybe people who do maybe they say self leadership, you even just maybe want to organize yourself, training yourself to be a leader, that's still leadership beginning from somewhere. So some people are given positions, and sometimes with that position people feel like that's a leader. You can be with that position but you're not even a leader yet. So you have to train yourself as a leader in that position. So other people as well, they can now decide, have an idea to be leaders, and then or start up something to have that position and be leaders in that thing which they have created.
mm,
So that's why some people it doesn't come easy, and some people it's actually given to them and they are pushed to do it. So I had from my experience and some other people, because we have been mentoring other young medical doctors, healthcare providers. There was someone who came for one of our events, and she told me that she went to a new hospital. She just finished medical school, and they put her as the director of the hospital. So she had to go and meet the director, because it was a private clinic. She had to go and meet the director and tell the director that she cannot do this. I can't do this. I just left medical school, and you want me to start leading my teachers, because the lecturers were there, were working in that
mm,
hospital.
mm,
And so she said she cannot do this. But the founder and the proprietor of that clinic said, no, I see you that you can do it, so don't give up, do it. You so I told her, I said of course she's right, because she knows that she has she has never done this before. She knows very well that she does not even know how to do it. But it's not just about saying that, yes, you can do it. If you go ahead to say, okay, I'm going to go along with you, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to take some steps with you. I'm going to direct you that, okay, in this step, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. But just saying, oh, I see that you can do it. No, that's not it. So that's why the CEO with no experience is coming in to tell you that there are times when you feel like, of course, you cannot do it because you don't have the qualification, you don't have the experience. But you now know that there are other leaders who have gone through the same thing as you. So they can show you that once you reach this, you can do this, do this. If you want to start up, you first of all do like this before you start. So even like building teams, I didn't know how to even build teams, but now I have a team of over in two different organizations who functioning very well, even when I'm not around. So I build teams that are sustainable. I build structures. I've never even known about something like this: building structures, building teams, building partnerships.
mm.
Even to sit and say, oh, me, I want to talk with the delegates, I can go and speak with the director and make deals. Oh my god, I had no idea I could do such. So those are things that anyone who is starting, it's building, becoming what you want to be by starting.
Yeah,
So if you don't start, yeah, then you'll not be able to build even the leadership in you.
yeah,
So it takes time, it takes courage, it takes the energy, it takes humility to learn from others and see what to do. So I think that it's about you willing to put out yourself out there. It's not about the titles, it's not about the qualifications or even the experience.
yeah. Yes, I agree 100%. And everything you say is true, especially when it comes to leaders. You see, I did a psychology degree and a psychology master's as well, right? And a lot of what you learn is leadership and management on paper, right? I think, but when you have to apply it in real life, goodness me, when I think anything that involves people, other people, is a nightmare. It's a minefield about to explode, right? I see my sister in crime, Paulette, is here. How you doing, Paulette? Glad you're here. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you want to come and talk to Dr. Noella, I'll happily share the link with you. Just put in the comments any link, please, and I'll send you a DM, right? Yes, it sounds like fun. The book sounds like fun, Paulette. But we'll come to that. We'll talk more about it, right? But I think, like I said, Dr. Noella, say, what even when you learn about leadership, only when you actually have to do it do you realize the complexities, right? I am a terrible leader. Nah, I'm not terrible. I'm a terrible leader. Let me put it that way. And look, I don't say that lightly. I say that because people have their own agendas, their own wish, their own preferences, their own things, right? And I can understand that. I can understand we're working together, but we're working together towards my priorities. And I know in the book, you make the point, something you learned from one of your mentors, that it's not about you, it's about what's in it for the other person, right? What's in it for me? So I remember that
Yeah.
reading that part clearly, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't, I can't think like that. That's number one. Number two, I think that you're right when you say that in companies, most people perform their role very well. Now you're a good accountant, you're a good worker. Suddenly, you're a manager. Suddenly, you're a leader. It's like, damn! I don't. Do I want to be a leader? No preparation. No formal, no formal experience of leading. Maybe the only experience you have is of being led by other people, right? And sometimes other people are not very good leaders themselves, right? I'm saying this is what
Yeah.
makes leadership so hard. There's books, there's theories about leadership. There's so many of them. I said I've read a good few of them, right? And in the end, I think, like you say, it's about just starting, and it's about who do you want to become as a leader. What is how do you want to be as a person, as a leader of people? But I'll give it back to you and say, like we said, it must start with being a good leader to yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't focus, if you can't be disciplined, if you can't be enthusiastic, if you can't be passionate about you and your mission, how are you going to make anyone else care?
Yeah.
It's all of that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's all of that and more. Look. So as we go forward, again, how will your book help people? Again, I'm very keen that that my author friends talk about their books, the story behind the book. What's the story behind your book? What made you write it? What drove you to give the time and effort to make it happen?
Yeah, that's that's a really, really good one. And one thing is, even just I just want to just a little bit from the way I started. You know, as a leader, it's always you need to realize where your weaknesses are, and to be able to go fast in order to actually shield those weaknesses or improve on them, so that you can be able to give in the best. So when I even started, like I said, my main thing was to give out maybe education to women, to just help women and explain to them better on their conditions. That's practically what I went out for. So normally the first thing is I didn't even bargain for this. Even finding an organization, up to the leadership program, up to reaching the United States, I had no idea about all those things. So where I was always the book type, always the one who, once I'm at school, it's book, it's book, it's book till I'm done. So I just focus only on that. But when challenges actually hit you, you're forced to do other things. You're forced to go out of your routine. And so once I started doing that, once I started getting a lot of people getting to me, I knew that I needed more. I needed enough, or the challenges, they were overwhelming, because you tend to have more than 50 patients getting to you. Because once I started a YouTube channel, we had more than 50 patients getting to me for consultation. So I could not do that alone. It was overwhelming, and I could not actually give them the best care that they needed. So I had to create now a team. And how do I create a team? I had no idea about creating that team. Yeah, so that's how I went into leadership, to see how do leaders actually do. How do they function? How does leadership work? Or how do you start up something? And once I did that, and thank God to how far it has been and how big it has been now. Yes. So I saw it as a way that there's always some, you have to document, no matter how small your progress is, no matter how they always say, you can see something as little as it is, but it means the whole world for someone. So just saying the story, because everyone is unique. We have a lot of books out there. We have a lot of people talking, and not everybody is going to talk the way you're talking. Not everybody is going to understand, even in as much as you say you can explain a lot, but not everybody will understand you. So you have to give your own unique voice in it. You have to come out and give the pathway for others to follow. And there are two things that I did for that. I wrote this book, and secondly, I founded the Cameroon Young Physician Network. So the Cameroon Young Physician Network, from my experience, many people started getting to me and asking me that, how did you do it? Because it was something, a lot people have done it, but when they see someone who was just like, okay, just the book type, or really, yes, seeing progress, until when I had that fellowship, to which was fully funded by the United States government, where I spent 2 months in the United States, the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I just see it as, it was just a validation of the work I was doing. So it was really about telling people that what this woman was doing, or what this doctor was doing, was actually impacting, and is worth this award. That's how I saw the Mandela Washington Fellowship. So I got many young doctors, many young nurses getting to me and saying, how did you do it? You just started like this. We saw you as if it was just a joke. We just usually see you writing all the time. We thought that you were too much, too obsessed with books, when you were actually writing. Because when I send patients to the lab and I'm waiting for their results, I start doing my scripts. I write my scripts. I write them. Right. So when I go home, I know that this is the time for shooting. I don't waste any time that I have to write my scripts for my YouTube channel. I already have the scripts. I just start shooting. So that was the story that I had to tell people. I needed people to know about it. So the first thing was, I said, okay, let me start the Cameroon Young Physician Network. There I brought together other young doctors who have transitioned into tech, who have also entered into community engagement, who have also entered into other aspects in healthcare leadership, doing healthcare, private and both the public, both Ministry of Public Health. So I collaborated with them. We brought them together and said, okay, let's see how we can teach these young medical doctors, these young healthcare professionals, that they can replicate me, they can replicate this other doctor, they can replicate this other doctor, and at the end give the best care to their patients. So it's about the passion. and it's about making others follow your footsteps. Those who want to do community engagement, like what I did and founded NGOs or other organizations, they can follow these steps. So while creating the Cameroon Physician Network as a body, I also created this masterpiece as well, just to share how I went through
mm,
and the processes I went, the challenges I went through, and how you too can also start your own your own work or whatever you want to do or whatever ideas. Sometimes I even say call it the CEO with no experience. Many people think of, yes, chief executive officer. Yes, that's actually what it is. But to my thinking, it's more about chief executor ownership. So it's ownership about whatever idea you want to bring. It's ownership. A student can also bring up a new idea, can also bring up a new innovation, a new way of doing things, a new way of community engagement, a new way of serving the population to increase care. So that is how you reason. So it's from the gap I saw in the healthcare system, especially with regards to leadership and doing maybe every other thing, just maybe someone focus on that. Because as a medical doctor, you can own a clinic, you can own a clinic, you have to employ people, but if you don't have leadership in you, you don't know how to employ those people, the clinic will crush. But you have to learn about leadership in order to know how to employ, who to employ, and even if you employ them, how do you make them remain qualified or remain and stay with you. So those are the aspects that were lacking in our healthcare system, that I had to come in with this aspect in order to see how to better serve our healthcare system in Cameroon through the Cameroon Physician Network. And with this book is just a blueprint of what I have gone through, which is a blueprint for someone who also has an idea and wants to start with little or nothing to be able to continue and maybe boost the person up. There are people who are here, you might be thinking of giving up on whatever thing you're trying to build. So this book is out to make sure that you don't give up on that idea. And you're thinking that you're not qualified. No, go ahead, do it, and you get qualified within the process. So that's the process of becoming. That's the process of becoming who you want to be. So we're not trying to say that you can just start and remain unqualified. No, because there are times that you need those qualifications to make bigger decisions, to sit on particular tables. You need now those qualifications to reach the impact, to make those tables to turn, to actually bring changes. For example, in policy, you need now those titles. So it's very important that you start wherever you have to start. Through that, I was able to read other books to make sure that wherever I am, because there are times where I've really felt like giving up, to say, this is, why did I even start this? I'm not even up to the task. I don't even maybe am I even a leader? Who am I to lead this group of people who are following me behind? So I felt also like giving up and having some projects where things failed. And through that, we tend to see that challenges will come, but how do you actually go through that? So I'm just putting this book out there for people to know that if you read, you see wherever you fit. Are you in the part of maybe just starting? Are you in the part of giving up? Are you in the part of expanding? Are you in the part of, okay, congratulations, this is a big win. What can you do next? So it just helps to give you a guideline to see that you don't miss out on anything. So it's a whole pathway from nothing
mm.
to something,
Yeah,
so that many people out there can really follow it through, see where they are, and take up from there.
it's beautiful, Dr. Noella. Beautifully said. Seriously, I'm touched. I'm touched, right? I really am. Everything again. I'm blown away by everything you say. Because you speak the truth. I'll explain why in a second. Cherry, welcome, my friend. So glad to see you. Cherry is one of our truly committed people who speaks honestly and openly about I guess raising a family and making family work, right? Of course she's a teacher as well, so she does teach kids in schools.
Wow.
I see Jay's here as well. Welcome, Jay. Jay's our storytelling expert. Now he's written a book about it as well. Again, of course, I mentioned my friends what they do half the time because I think what you're saying just now, which is we have to start. We have to find the courage to start, and when we start, we're not just doing something for the sake of doing something, right? Of course, the one thing people don't know until you read, even or maybe even when you read the book. No, when you read the book, you know Dr. Noella's backstory. See, there is a personal experience that started all of this somewhere, right? Maybe that the personal experience came halfway through during your pregnancy. Truly, say that I think there's a way we find the passion for what we're doing. There's a way we find the answer to the problem. And I think you are a perfect example. Much of many of my friends are. Many of my friends who write books are. We see a problem, and like you say, it's the O in CEO is not officer, it's ownership. Take ownership. And we do. We're here to solve that problem. I think every day, Dr. Noella, that this is our time. We have to do it. Whatever it is, we are the answer, and we have to get the answer out there. And again, I think by you writing your book, by my friends writing their books, what we're saying to the world is we have a unique view. We have something that we can add to the conversation that other people may not know.
Yeah.
And that's true leadership. That's truly that's being brave. I think that's where it all starts, right? Of course, it's not going to be easy. The world's not going to say to you, "Yes, yes, you're right." They're not. They never do, right? Everyone's going to say, "Are you sure? Do you know enough? Why should we listen to you?" But that's always at the beginning. I think with time and with more impact, like you said, people begin to say, "Wow, you're not just talking. You have a point. There's a reason you wrote your book. There's something in your book that we can learn something from. It's such a good picture, and a good way to look at life. We must just go for it and see where that takes us. But again, you mentioned the failures, you mentioned the disappointments that happen. These are part of the journey, right? As a leader, I don't know whether. See, I'm trying to balance two things together, Dr. Noella. I don't know whether the personal mission is almost more important than you know, I guess the recognition we get for doing what we do. The passion within us for doing what we do is so strong that it doesn't matter if no one, if other people don't agree with us. Does it really matter? Can that stop us?
No, you can't stop. The passion is usually so deep that, because sometimes, if that, and that's why, if the passion is not that deep, once you start listening to things around, it's going to stop you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's going to stop you. And so, sit now, they say, oh, so what you were doing was actually worthy. So it's the passion. That passion, once it's really that deep, it makes you ignore a lot of things.
Hmm.
Not really all, but you have to be selective in what you take in and what you let it slide.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Look, and I think I was in the room. So I did the room last night. Natalie mentioned ego, and when people mention ego, I tend to grow horns. I'm like, ego is a good thing because sometimes you have to be so obsessed with your mission that
Yeah.
it can come across as ego. I see it as passion. It's what it is, right? You have to be committed wholeheartedly, 100% and more. Risk everything for the cause. If you're
Yeah.
not willing to do that, success is definitely, it's not, you're not going to get anywhere too far, right? But it takes bravery. It takes, working in yourself, and being willing to accept the resources out there to help you, the people that can help. Of course, I love the fact that when you started, all your supporters, all your workers, let's call it that, were volunteers.
Yeah.
You had to do a bit of volunteer service out of nothing, which is an
Yeah.
amazing thing to do, right? I've worked with volunteers up to Noella, and if I struggle enough to trust people who I pay, let alone those I don't pay. If I don't pay you, then I'm anxious, I'm worried, I'm concerned, I'm panicked every day. Are they gonna turn up? Are they gonna do what I said? What they have to do? Are they gonna do it the right way? Do they care about my customers? All of that.
Yeah.
So I say all of that. At least that you've learned and you've referenced in the book as well. Look. When it comes to leading people, what's the biggest lesson you've learned?
Yeah. That's anyway. I've learned a lot, but one main thing that I learned, it was during the Mandela Ocean Fellowship, where we had to talk about, like, where you evaluate your strength. They call it Clifton strength, where you enter all your characteristics, and at the end it gives you your five top strength, and lastly some of maybe like your weaknesses, just limitations. So one thing I learned is how to position other people using their strength. So that's one of the biggest thing, and I think that that is what has helped me to create organizations with structures.
Mm, mm,
Because as leaders, if you're not there and it fails, then you are failed as a leader. So that is the highest thing I've learned in leadership. And that one has, it's almost like that's the sustainability plan for me.
mm,
Because
mm,
if you're not able to know who to put in the team, so you don't tend to have a good team player, and then everything crushes. So that's the highest thing I've learned from
yeah,
leadership. So
yeah.
yes, that actually makes you, yeah, to go beyond and make sure that everybody gives in their top strength.
Mm,
Imagine you
mm.
have a team of five, and all the five are at their top strengths differently, then it really goes well. So that's the highest thing I've learned about leadership.
Of course, I love that, and I think again, but this comes into building a team. To make that building a team is knowing the members of your team, and then
Yeah.
putting them in the right places to do the right thing, where they can give their best, they can give their most, right?
Yeah.
And again, I can see now. Of course, like any mention of delegation sounds like we're getting others to do our work. Are you with me? I struggle with that. I'm not willing to give my work away half the time. I just don't trust people. And I don't know. I struggle with the whole leadership thing, Dr. Noella. But I will learn. I will learn. Right? I'm always
No,
learning
no,
every
no,
day.
Eddie, it's not about to learn. It's not about that. Because there are ones that you focus on doing the thing that only you can do.
Mm, mm,
Only you can
mm.
do, because yeah, yes, so that you have enough time to do what only you can do. Why now the things which you think the other person is top in can do it, while you are focusing on the one that you can do. Yeah, so that's it.
I know you're right. Of course, I know you're right. You know, again, maybe Natalie's right too. I have an ego problem. You know, maybe I'm willing to accept. Maybe I do, right? You know, I like to do what I like to do. I like to. I think in
Yeah,
the, I think this is one of the fine lines in leadership, Dr. Noella. I think you were talking
I
about
am
just
so good at what you do.
yeah, that you can do it quicker than everyone else. But is it? But it's not true. I don't think it's true. Right? I think, like you said, do the things that you're very good at. Let others do what they're very good at. You know,
Yeah.
and I suppose now for me, to be fair, I have a different model. I've tried the employees, but I didn't have the right
Okay.
employees. I didn't employ the right people because I went for youth. So, because when you're a small business, you have to go for what you can afford to pay, right? So I went for youth,
Yeah.
and then it's not the young people's fault that they're not as good as I would like. So
Mm-hmm.
now I work more with freelancers today who are experts in their field, and and I can demand more from them, and they did deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I'm learning to
Yeah.
give people what they should be good at really, and what they say they're good at. You know, so
Yeah. Okay.
there's that fine line between delegation and doing everything yourself, right? Now, a leader, and look, let me put it this way: the days of the heroic leader are gone. The all-knowing, all-doing, the infallible, unfailing leader doesn't exist anymore. There was a time when that was there, when you had to be next to God to be a leader. To be a manager, you had to be perfect, right? I think your book makes a point. It's not about you being the god, being the leader, being the superhero of everyone. I
Yeah.
think it's about letting others shine in their field, right? Yeah, but all of
Yeah.
that comes from knowing the people that you're working with, knowing the people that you have that you need. It's all of everything has to come together. But essentially, the leader. Maybe I should ask you the question, Dr. Noella. If it doesn't get done properly, whose fault is it?
No, it's still about giving responsibility. If you're giving responsibility to someone, you should be ready to take the blame. You should be ready to take the blame, of course, because either you have to sit and say, where did this person go wrong, and if there are aspects where you can train the person, then you do that. So it's actually still you who takes the blame, not the person. You can just
Mm.
try to correct the person, of course.
Yeah, again,
And say that
as you talk about now, put the systems in place that way it doesn't happen again, right? That way, that people do
yeah,
learn and people can give you know the right
exactly.
responses, deliver the right results. So leadership is most interesting, but I wonder how we would rate ourselves. I do wonder. I do wonder, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's true.
yeah. I'm brutally honest, and maybe I'm too honest about my failings as a leader. But like you say, um, get people who can do what you're not very good at. And I will say this, Dr. Noella. If I had a good
Yeah.
manager, I would happily be managed in my business by someone who's going to do the management side, and I just work. Leave me to work, because maybe there's a question about how important is it to be a good follower, to be a good leader. Are good
Pardon.
leaders are good leaders good followers? Do you have to be a good follower first to become a good leader?
Normally, I think I was just listening to one of my mentors who usually talk, and he's also a great leader. And he said one thing, that if you see a leader and that leader is not following another person, then you should you should be careful. Yeah, because first of all, leaders must have been followers. He said, Jesus Christ, follow me as I follow Christ. So Jesus was a leader. He was following Christ. He was following God. So yes. So once Moses, everybody, all those people are leaders. So they were following Christ. So if you are following me, know that I'm following another person. So leaders, you have to also be, you have once been followers of people and even continue to be followers of leaders who are ahead of you, to continue
Mm.
learning, because like we said, we are leaders who are never perfect. You don't know everything. You listen, there are times that you see two books, you say, why did I read this book? But you read something in another book and get something that you did not get in the other book, and that's how you keep learning. So leaders, you have to follow other leaders, you have to follow other people and be committed, and that's how people do follow you. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not about you forcing them to follow you. They even see the way you follow others and they're like, wow, and they keep on following you just automatically. Yeah.
I, I love that. So of course, I agree 100%. So you have to be, a good follower to get to others to follow you. And it's not get others to follow you. It's about learning the characteristics, the qualities, the skills to inspire others and motivate others to want to learn from you and do your
Yeah.
bidding. Natalie. Look, so maybe the one thing that we'll probably leave on this point. I'll let you have a quick think, right? I think emotion regulation is probably the biggest lesson that leaders have to learn, right? Natalie, look, I'm not at all. Your question yesterday was fair enough. Now, the ego thing is a question that I ask myself every day. Now, I think it's a fair question, right? I think that's just I don't know when you are at the front of people like we have to be every day. Nat, you have to ask yourself, am I acting out of I guess it's not need. Am I acting out of passion or out of ego? Am I acting out of self belief? And self confidence, knowing my position, or am I acting out of I think I'm so good that the world has to listen to me, sort of thing, right? So you make your point, I make my point, right? It's perfectly fine, right? I don't even read the comments. It's fine. So so Dr. Noella, you see, leaders have to face everything, right?
Yeah.
Let's answer this question. So, what's everyone's definition, expectations, and differentiator?
Oh,
You know, we
one
talked about
starting
that.
definitely.
We'll say we talked about the leadership role, and it's multifaceted. It's everything and nothing at the same time, right? It's everything that we have to do and be willing to do to get our mission influence to want to create our mission to get people to buy into the mission. And again, there's always the in-house and external customers. The employees have to buy into your mission. You have to create a team that buys into that mission of yours. And of course, the people that you say exist to serve must experience your solution. This is all part of leadership in that sense. Collaboration is something else, right? So maybe it can be partly collaboration, but I think it's more about inspiration when it comes to leading people. You want to inspire them. You want to make them feel the passion that you feel. That way
You
they can go
felt.
out there and do what
Yeah.
they have to do. Right? Even within that, there's always that question that Dr. Noella put so well in her book. What's in it for me? Is what the other people will always ask. Even if they feel your passion, it's your passion, it's not their passion.
It's
They,
not
they all
theirs.
don't
Yeah.
know. So you always have to address what they want and what they need to live their best life. Right? I'll leave it there for now. Dr. Noella, how important is emotional regulation, given that in the world we live in, a leader, yeah, in days gone by, leaders were terrible people, Dr. Noella. They were terrible. I remember working on a building site, right? And builders are terrible. And I say, if something goes wrong, they will throw a bucket and they will scream and shout. They will throw tools. No, really, no. Construction sites, they're terrible places, right? It's almost like bullying. Almost really.
Yeah, yeah,
But the bricklayer will tell you, I want to build the wall that's perfect for the client. I can't afford to risk this wall falling down. I'm just using walls as an example, right? I want to plaster. I want this plaster to be perfect for the room. So when you bring me something that's not perfect, I have to make sure you know. Are you with me? So
yeah.
we live in that weird world between
You
keeping
and the
your
other person.
yeah, keeping your emotions in check. I mean, managing your emotions, primarily, right? As a, and, I, and at the same time, not being careless. Not being
No,
laissez-faire. Literally,
yeah, sure.
right. How do
Mm-hmm.
how do we manage that complicated thing in our minds? How do you approach it? How do you approach people who let you down? People who do things not the way you want. People who are
Yeah.
hmm, talk to me. So how
I, I,
so
think, I think I think that's really that's really really a difficult point, especially when it comes to leadership, because there are times that you have to say it, but now sometimes it's how raw you say it or how sugar coated you make it look like. But is your point, has your point been passed out clearly, in as much as either raw or sugar coating? But that's why it's important to learn about emotional intelligence, to know how to read other people, to know how they react to certain things, and of course know how to talk to them, because you need to make things right. You don't have to see things not going the right way and you this person what doing. Yeah, just like for example, if you did something wrong, which even you as a leader saw that this person was not really competent enough, and if you're bringing this person, you know that you had to train this person and you didn't do the training, and if the person does not do it well, of course you know that it's your fault. Sometimes we want to put our fault on the person and put all the blame on the person. So those type of things you need to see how to really talk about it. And I think that with this aspect, it brings me to something. While I was working at the hospital, there was a conflict between some elderly doctors that always they usually have sometimes some conflicts and all that. They usually come to me, they say, we know that you know how to talk to these doctors very well, so please go and tell them that this, do like this, that they have to, how should we. So when I go, I talk with them, as I talk now in a friendly way, like normally. Then when I get now the point, I say, okay, so how do you think about this? Then I go now and give feedback that no, if people want to do this, it's better to do it this way so that this person is not going to actually be heard. Or you go ahead and do it. This person is fine with it. So that's how you can mediate some certain aspects, and that's how we'll be able to work like a team. So it's
I like that. I'm taking too much of your time, Dr. Noella. I'm keeping you too long. I said, no, we're gone in a few minutes. Right? Again,
all
of course,
right.
I love,
Yeah.
I love your response, and I think we can all learn something new. Natalie, I'll come to your question in a minute, so I'll put it on screen so Dr. Noella can look at it. I feel like sugar coating is a way of looking at it. I think I tend to look at it as do unto others as you wish to do unto yourself. I'll let her come to you in a second.
Really about things.
I can really if we avoid things that mean we have to pause. I think you just said it. Don't avoid what you have to do. What has to be said has to be said, right? And you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
have
know,
to we have to say it, and maybe too at times, like maybe about, as Natalie is talking about, pause. There are times that it's not maybe immediate. Yes, you might not say it immediately. There are times that you have to wait, maybe the tension, and or maybe the person is feeling really bad about what they did. You can make the person to actually calm. Once the person is like calm, before you can actually approach the situation. So that's an aspect where you can really pause, not really acting immediately to, so that the person actually, because once we are all humans. Once we make mistakes, we feel bad. We feel bad. Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, we always feel bad. We don't even want somebody to mention that. So but once maybe the air is clear, and even you think that you've had a peace of mind with that, and even when somebody comes to even talk to you now, at that point you're like, oh, it's true, I really had to do that. I really had to do. Yeah. So with that, I think those are ways which
yeah.
leaders can do. Yeah.
It's a great question, Natalie. It really is, right? Again, of course, I agree with you. I think, as a leader, what you don't want to do is regret your actions. That's one thing
Yeah.
I've learned. Right? So that pause you mentioned, Natalie, is so important. Before I do anything, I will ask myself, do I really want to do this? Do I want to say this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to send that message? Do I want to
Yeah.
do that post? Do I really? And only when I can see that I'm not going to regret it afterwards, that I will tend to do things. Some things I leave to sit to tomorrow, because again, it's not just the other person. I'm thinking how they feel. I'm thinking it's how I feel. My
Yeah.
emotions is equally raw. So I want to just literally, it looks like I've ignored it, but I'm not. I'm just leaving it until the right time. Until
Mm-hmm.
and I tend to want to deal with things in a fact with facts. Emotions. Let's try and leave that out of things, but I know it's impossible most of the time, right? But we can be less intensely emotional about anything. I wait until I'm perfectly calm, and then I can really decide what to do rather than acting out of any feeling whatsoever, whether it's anger, happiness,
That's
which
right.
makes me look dull, but it's fine. I'm just controlled in that sense, right? Look, Dr. Noella, you're brilliant, and I'm excited about our next few weeks together on these shows. My friends, everything lined up to Dr. Noella's book launch day on the 27th of August, as we have it right now. That may change. That may change. And if it changes, like we just talked about emotional regulation, we'll
Yeah.
just have to do what we have to do, right? There'll be no panic, there'll be no jumping up and down. But of course, you'll be the first to know. I hope you would join us again today's Thursday. So Monday, we have another topic for you on leadership. And hopefully, once I get my tech working again the way I can trust, then I'll go back to this way of bringing people up and so on and so on, and do what I normally do. But Dr. Noella, we've managed today, right? This is what it's all
Yeah.
about. We survived. I thank you
We
all for spending your
survived.
time with us. Yeah, and look, so my good friends are starting to see how amazing you are. They didn't see it before.
Thank
There's,
you.
there's, more,
Thank you.
there's more we need to bring, the Christianos of this world, Dr. Amaka of this world, and let's bring those people to come and, there's more doctors on LinkedIn than African doctors, especially. We should all support each other. Come on now. And I support Dr. Noella's book, and I will support your book. I'm not saying either or, I'm saying support each other. Good leaders can support each other. They really do. They really
Yeah.
do. And I say the worst thing, I say, I'll end on this today. If you want to make one last point, then you feel free. So the last thing, what good leaders don't do is get to a position and then pull the ladder up. So others can't get to. So we have to be inclusive and want to help others, support others, and that's what you're doing with
Yeah.
your book, and that's what you're doing with your organization as well, right?
Yeah.
So I can see that, and so that's a lesson for all of us to learn. Supporting others is part of the mission, part of what makes us who we are. Of course, I will thank you for using the word who we are becoming, because that's it. Leadership is about becoming a
Becoming,
better
yeah.
version, of ourselves, right? A better us, more impactful us. That's what a better us looks like. More
Yeah.
impact, more results, more service. All those things that we talk about, they're real. Dr. Noella, you're a genius. Thank you so much for being you. Now,
Thank you.
what do you want to leave us with today? What's your last message for us to bear in mind?
My last message is that we really just need to start. And like I said, it's not about qualification or experience. So in as much as you have something burning in you to do it, just start. Like me, I just started. Even this book writing, I started writing, and I want to be able to put the roadmap for others to follow. So you must not wait to see that others have done it and you don't have your space. No, you have your own space on that table. So you have your own space in whatever ideas you have, and don't give up, because you're just that great person you had to become.
So yeah,
Thank you.
so beautifully said. I can't. I'm not going to spoil it by trying to add any more to that, right? Dr. Noella, look, please don't disappear unless you have to. Say we need to do our Kickstarter thing, right? So maybe we'll talk afterwards and work out when we're going to sort that out, right? But
Yeah.
look, you take care. Thank you very much.
Thank
Let me,
you.
let me
Thank
try
you,
and get.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for engaging, and hopefully, you will connect to Dr. Noella as well. If you need the link to connect, let me know. I'll happily share Dr. Noella's you know LinkedIn profile in a group chat. You can't find her on YouTube as well, but we'll sort all that out at the end. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your day.
Bye.
Enjoy your day. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Restream. Right.
I know you don't like all the flair. Sometimes the shine brings too much glare. So we toned it down for the audience's sound. Global Media. Any old song. Let's go. Find to stop the show. If you don't know, baby, now you know. If you want your book sold, here you go. Any old song. Let's go. 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 Go. Right now. Global Media. Let's go. Any old song. Time to start this show. Step in the room, let the whole place shake. Any got the formula, watch greatness break. Books go live and the rankings rise. #1 energy right before your eyes. From Nigeria to the United Kingdom, building up voices and igniting freedom. Off the stand taller when the spotlight hits. Global Media turns big dreams into business. Paula got power, Paulette brings the crowd. Alexis makes every written word sound proud.